Hi everyone, welcome to Mike's Mopar Garage. Back in the shop today after a long time trying to complete a video that I started. Quite frankly, it's been over a year. Many of you probably know, if you've seen one of my last video, I got hurt pretty bad in an accident of over a year ago, and I was been laid up for quite a while. So I'm finally getting back and going and able to get back and complete some stuff, and one of them is this video. So I made a video before on upgrading the brake system. So many of you probably already know, at the time before that, I had a fire on the dash wiring of my car, right at the bulkhead connector. And I was able to put the fire out. Didn't do a whole lot of damage, but obviously melted the wiring and stuff. So I decided to replace obviously all the wiring, dash wiring and everything. So the dash, I pulled the dash out, pulled everything out to replace all that wiring, which I got a video on replacing that dash wiring. So check it out. But I took advantage of going ahead and upgraded the brake system. When I built this car, I went back with a factory style brake booster on it, and I had it checked. It said it worked. And I drove this car for almost 20 years with that brake booster, with the brakes that were not really great. Now, granted, I know I didn't have a great vacuum, probably around 16 inches or so, which is not the optimum for power brakes, but I dealt with it. But when I decided to, or when I had this fire and decided to change all the wiring and pull everything out, I made the decision to go ahead and try to upgrade that, to try to improve it. So one of the things I did, I was going to change the booster on it, and the master cylinder, and the proportion valve. So I decided to change all three. So I went ahead and I produced a video on installing that booster. So it was pretty straightforward. Had to open up the hole a little bit, not a big deal. Installed it, looked great, fit great, everything was wonderful, awesome. That is until I went to go use the car. I had an issue that when I would push the brake pedal down all the way, the pedal would not return. I could lift it with my toe slightly and it would come up, but on its own it would not come up. Did a lot of research, had a lot of suggestions, push rod length wrong, master cylinder bad, things of this nature. So I kind of went through some of this troubleshooting, and I just determined that, golly, something was probably up with this booster. So I decided to call Master Power Brakes and talk to their tech support, because I thought originally, even though I bought the booster kit and everything from Classic Industries, I thought that the booster was made by Master Power Brakes, or supplied by Master Power Brakes to Classic Industries. Come find out, it wasn't. They don't make that style booster for Mopars for that particular year. But the guy at tech support was really helpful. So one of the suggestions he gave me was, if we can troubleshoot the booster to tell if the booster itself, even though it was brand new, if the booster itself was bad. And one of the things that we can do is start the car while it's running, push the pedal down all the way down, and then while it's running, go and disconnect the vacuum line from the booster. If the pedal comes up, chances are it's just the booster is bad. Man, I really didn't want to hear that, because as you already know, changing boosters of these cars, especially once the dash and everything is back in, is not an easy feat. So I went ahead and decided to do that. But before we go to, I show you what happened, let's take a look at this booster and I'll show you exactly what type it is and what's going on. So there's the booster installed. Pretty straightforward, not a big deal. And I thought I was home clear, but let's take a look what happened when I started the car and then disconnected the vacuum on it. So there you have it. You saw in the video when I disconnected the vacuum from the booster, the pedal came up. So according to Master Power Brakes, that confirms that the booster is bad. So off we go. I changed it. And here it is. Here's the other one I pulled off. And to look at it, it looks perfectly fine. I don't see why it was bad. I don't know if it's bad. But we changed it. So hopefully this is gonna fix it. and would be confirmed by we starting the car, pushing the brake pedal down, and it should return back on its own. So as all of you know who's changed boosters with the dash in the car, it's not fun. I end up pulling the steering column out of the way, only because at the same time of doing all this, I decided to do something crazy and change exhaust manifold gaskets. So I pulled the steering column out of the way, which kind of makes it easier to get in there anyways. And while I had the column out of the way and had all that extra room, that's when I decided to change the exhaust manifold gasket on that side. Because again, everybody knows that's not an easy task. So you can't take advantage of the situation while you can. So this is it. This is the one that's suspected to be in bad, so I replace it. So now let's start the car. Let's get in and let's push the brake pedal down and see if it returns back the way it's supposed to do. So let's give it a whirl. Well, as you can see, it was a bad booster. So I went ahead and changed it, and then you can see the results. I push the pedal down, it comes right back up. Push the pedal down, it comes back up. The car's not quite drivable yet because I've also started another project where I'm changing some switches and things like that, trying to troubleshoot some of the wiring. After I got it installed, some of the things that are still not working quite right, so I'm just troubleshooting switches and other things like that, make sure I got good connections. But anyways, I'm able to back the car out of the driveway and back into the shop and everything like that and use the brakes. They work great. And I think they're going to actually be a lot more, it's going to be a lot better braking system. I can just feel it in the pedal. The way a car stops, it doesn't, it's a much better feel in the pedal. So I cannot be happier. You know, these parts that we get from vendors, sometimes we live and die by these things. And I actually produced a video, one of the very first ones on this channel, and you can go back and look at it. It talks about our vendors and the people and the suppliers we get our parts from. Unfortunately, these days, a lot of these parts are Chinese or substandard manufacturers, and it's not like the old days where everything was made in USA. So we get these parts, and we're really kind of tied to these guys. And as you can see, it cost me a lot of time and money. Fortunately, I was super happy. Now, this is going to be a shout out to Classic Industries, because I bought this booster about 8 months before I actually even installed it, because it was part of a project that I had planned on doing earlier than when I actually started it. So I had this part on the shelf. I installed it, found out it was bad. I called Classic Industries and told them what was going on, that I was restoring this car, redoing it. I'd bought the parts previous, and now I'm finding out it's bad. Classic Industry did not hesitate. They sent me a brand new one in the mail and didn't even ask for the old one back. You say what you will about Classic Industries. We've all have our ups and downs with them sometimes, but I have to tell you, Classic Industries really stepped up here, and I really appreciate them. So shout out to them. Not getting anything from them, it's just my own personal feeling. But man, shout out to them. So I cannot be happier with the brakes. That's been a 20+ year project I've really been working on, and I cannot be happier. As I've always said before, please, if you like this video and these tips were a little bit helpful and to help me bring you some more, please like and subscribe to the channel. Really helps me out a lot and lets me know that everybody likes these videos. And please give me some feedback. I'd like to hear what everybody else has, and hopefully this video helped them and get a little troubleshooting. So again, like and subscribe, and thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time.